Hi, my name is Jill, and this is why I can't sleep. Have you ever heard of Okiku, the doll whose hair appears to grow? Some westernized versions of this story say she causes death and mayhem, and that the doll kills its owners and finds its way back to a store to be purchased again and again. But the actual story is much more nuanced than that. On August 15th, 1918, a brother purchased the doll for his sister, who was named Okiku, on her third birthday. Some versions say the father purchased it, and that will come up again later. The doll had a kimono, just like this one, and a chin-length bob, so shorter than this doll, called an okuppa. Please correct my pronunciation, I don't think that's correct, but she had a very short chin-length bob. So little 3-year-old Okiku is just crazy about this doll. She takes it to bed with her, she bathes it, she feeds it, and names it after herself. So it's giving Robert the Doll vibes. If you know about Robert the Doll, the little boy named Robert after himself. But tragically, the little girl either became ill with a cold or contracted malaria from a mosquito bite, and she passes away. In Japan, when cremating a loved one, it is customary to put things in the casket. Mementos that the deceased can take with them to the other side. I can't pronounce what the word is, but it translates to grave goods. And it even happens today. Items are typically letters, clothes, sweets, or snacks. Not permitted are metal, glass, rings, eyeglasses, nothing that could interfere with cremation. So nothing that would be dangerous or toxic when burned. So this is one explanation as to why the doll was not placed in Okiku's casket. Another explanation is that the family simply forgot to put the doll in. Either way, the family kept the doll with the urn in their family altar, and they prayed to Okiku's memory there. Soon they began to notice that the doll's hair had grown to its shoulders. They decided that Okiku's soul was inhabiting the doll. In 1938, some stories say the brother was enlisted, and others say that the whole family moved. In any case, they left the doll with a local temple. There's confusion as to why they didn't take the doll with them, and not really a good explanation for that. But 7 years later, the family comes back to visit and they pay their respects to Okiku. Over all these years, the monks had been caring for the doll, and her hair had grown even longer, down to her waist. So the monks enacted a ceremony to trim the hair, but it just grew back. The family asked the temple to keep the doll indefinitely, pray over it, and make sure that the spirit stays quiet and appeased, which they do to this day. Okiku became famous in the 1960s because on August 6, 1962, a woman's magazine published an article about her. In this article, the little girl was called Kyoku, not Okiku. And it wasn't the brother who bought the doll. It was the father. Remember, I said that was going to come up later. In this version, the father went away and never got the chance to visit the doll because he passed away before he could. He was reportedly sent to work in the coal mines, and the job wouldn't allow the father to take the remains or the doll with him. So, he entrusted the doll and urn to the temple, and he asked that the temple put the doll away in a closed box for safekeeping. And the priest did offer prayers to both the doll and the little girl's ashes. 3 years pass, and the father hasn't returned. Meanwhile, one of the monks has a very vivid and disturbing dream. The father appears at his bedside, soaking wet. He begs the monk to cut his daughter's hair. Not the doll's hair, the daughter's hair. Remember, in this version, the doll is in a box, so the monks haven't noticed the doll's hair growing yet. The monk takes this dream very seriously, and he opens the doll's box. He sees that her hair has indeed grown, and a lot. There is much speculation on how the father could have died. Was it a storm or a shipwreck? Is that why he was wet in the monk's dream? In yet another and scarier version, the brother notices that the hair is growing, and in different shades. The family trims the hair, and they all begin having nightmares about the little girl. Sometimes she is scared and alone in the darkness. Other times she blames the family for what happened to her. Every member of the family experiences the dreams, and they decide that the little girl is not resting peacefully. The doll begins to appear by their bedsides. Following a nightmare, the father wakes up in a cold sweat, face to face with the doll. They turn to priests and have a cleansing ritual performed on the doll and the house, but this just makes things worse. They begin to hear banging and the whispers of the little girl and low groans in the night. The activity seems to grow worse around Okiku's date of birth and date of death. This continues for 20 years. Eventually, the family relocates and gives the doll to the temple. The priest also experienced disturbing occurrences. The doll's hair still grew, and they cut it and had it tested. It was human hair, but that would be typical of a doll from this time period. There's nothing unusual about a doll with real human hair at this point in time. The priest noticed the doll did better when her hair was cut and combed, but she still caused trouble. If a priest expressed doubt or tried to cleanse the doll, they were soon haunted by nightmares, and their homes and rooms began to manifest the same paranormal activities experienced by Okiku's parents. The priests turned to appeasement. They offered the doll gifts, and several generations have looked after the doll. It is said that the doll grows more powerful with age. The hair seems to grow faster, and it's becoming frayed. Visitors who doubt Okiku have nightmares about being stalked by the doll. Photographs are not allowed for fear the little girl might lose her soul or become angered. There's a theory that started in the 70s about why the hair may appear to grow. Back when the doll was made, they would take a long piece of human hair, fold it in half, and glue the part where it's bent into small holes into the scalp of the doll. Over time, the glue may have dissolved and loosened, so instead of the hair being a uniform length, some pieces may have started slipping, making it appear the hair is growing. But the doll is rarely touched. No one is pulling the hair. Her hair is currently below her waist, and even if the strands were folded, it wouldn't be that long. If you'll remember, the doll originally had a very short bob. The hair is 3 or 4 times longer than it should be for a chin-length bob. In recent years, photos of the doll make it appear that her mouth opens and closes. Some people claim she has sprouted baby teeth, and the doll is slowly becoming human. Interestingly enough, Okiku shares her name with a famous Japanese folktale. In the story, Okiku is a servant girl who was hired to wash dishes for the lord of a castle. Okiku was very beautiful and caught the eye of a samurai. He soon became obsessed with her, but she wasn't interested. So the samurai came up with a plan. He hid a priceless dish, the 10th of a set of 9, owned by Okiku's master, and then questioned her, "What did you do with the plate?" Stealing was an offense punishable by death. She searched high and low and couldn't find the dish. Then the samurai made her an offer. Become his bride, and he would tell the lord that she was not to blame. She declined, and he flew into a rage and ordered her to be beaten and thrown into a well. The story says that her ghost can still be seen wandering the castle, searching for the lost plate. She can be heard counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and when no 10th plate is found, she lets out a blood-curdling scream. It is said those who hear her fall mysteriously ill, and if you hear her make it to 9, you will soon die. If you want more creepy dolls, haunted objects, ghost stories, and morbid folk tales, consider liking this video and following my channel. Snuggle in tight. The whispers start at midnight. Sweet dreams.